Welcome to this event, Glasgow as a Connected City. This model or mandala I think is very appropriate for today because it's been used by certain religions as a representation of the world or of the universe. It also represents all the different connections that we think we can see across the city. I would encourage you to have a quick look at the website, and I just want to get some feedback on anything you found that was kind of interesting and things that you think are maybe missing.
I think it's a really great way of bringing together information about lots and lots of different areas in a way which is quite coherent.
Every single web page just has a lot of words. You know, I think of the people that I work with, people maybe have quite low literacy levels, and a lot of those pages read like an academic paper.
I've made the suggestion that critical friends might be a way forward for the centre to run things past people.
It needs to be maintained. The data needs to be current and up to date, but I think it's a very good way of looking at the whole issue and bringing it all together in a useful way.
How can we grow a better connected city? So we've all been jetted in from the OECD to use our expertise and our experience to come up with some answers to that question. In your area of concern or specialism, what's the most worrying trend? What's a shock? And finally, what's the concern that should be on our agenda?
I think happiness is quite a good thing for health, isn't it? That's really kind of something that's that kind of reflects quite strongly in mindset.
Yes, well that's right. Unemployment increasing is a worrying trend, I guess.
So I want one person from each node, and we'll slowly build up a picture of the whole. And the picture will be the challenges that we're up against.
Our domain is community safety, as Graham mentioned. The trend is deprivation, and the shock is social unrest, and the concern is lack of funding to support skills for young people.
I think we're seeing more and more evidence that there are areas that are very disconnected within Glasgow.
I was disappointed to hear the statistic that 85% of people don't feel well connected to their community.
It is a city of almost little villages in a way that don't talk to each other as much as they possibly could do.
I've spent most of my career probably trying to get connections, and yet somehow or other we are all funded separately, and so we all have different agendas, strategies, and really trying to get all of those things to cooperate together is terribly vital, and I think this game demonstrates that really well.
So this next part, we've put 3 different nodes together. Community safety, social capital and population in this corner. Education, health and mindset here. And transport, poverty and cultural vitality over here. The task is to imagine a world in which all of those 3 things happen at the same time.
More ghettoised kind of areas, you know, so places that are currently deprived become more deprived, inequalities and social disparity, no mean city.
So what we're saying here, human misery increases, or is that too drastic?
In some ways there's a counter intuitive thing where there's actually a lot of people sticking together because people aren't, in terms of the wealthy areas, they're not jumping in a car to go to the theatre, they're actually going around to, I don't know.
One of the wee things that's starting to kind of develop with some of the folk in the communities that we're working with would be a sense of righteous anger about some of the cuts and how it's affecting those living in poverty, and how that's actually motivating people to actually to volunteer a wee bit more and say, well you know, where do I put this energy?
If that's the description of the city that is on offer, you're not going to get more investment, so you're not going to get more, you know, increased jobs.
The fact that these things are happening does not mean that people are going to remain there. So you can have brain flight out of the city.
There will have to be something around, well, you know, what can we do to improve our quality of life from where we are, rather.
The concern that went across a lot of the discussions about the impact of the recession and austerity, that this widening disconnect that's going to create.
Looking at a cultural mind shift and skills analysis and doing some tracking of migration and skills, whether it's inward or outward.
I think one of the things I'm realising that there's no silver bullet, there's no kind of magic
formula that it's a lot about working together to try and solve these quite wicked problems, if you like.
We've heard these scenarios, we've got deeper and deeper into the complexity. In order for Glasgow to become a more connected city, it is essential to ... Let's first call upon the Chief for Health.
You think for Glasgow to become a more connected city, it's essential that we treat everybody as we'd like to be treated?
Call on the Chief for Population.
It is our considered view that in order for Glasgow to become a more connected city, it's essential to utilise its greatest asset, its people. And our summary statement is, people make Glasgow.
The Chief for Social Capital.
And the summary statement is, invest in community-led solutions.
Lifestyle.
Strike at the source of damaging lifestyle choices.
I'm a natural-born sceptic, but it seemed to work. And I think we explored some interesting issues and got quite a lot out of it.
I think it's a really good way of beginning to see the connections across all the various dimensions.
I also think that the structure is very clever.
Just bringing forward all these ideas and getting people interacting and networking, it's coming up with some quite interesting results.
That's the end of the game. We have a few minutes, not very many, but a few minutes to reflect on the experience.
We will write up the report of this morning. That will be a resource for use as you choose. We will make that report available on our website and the outcomes that we'll summarise in that.
Going back to the connectedness of the city, we know there are lots of organisations helping people to feel connected. They're very economic to run, and I think greater investment in that would be really important for Glasgow and for its future.